freedom of religion. This group consists of 4 articles: Article 25, 26, 27, 28. So these 4 articles put together bring within its ambit right to freedom of religion. So before I discuss one by one these articles 25, 26, 27, 28, firstly you should know that India is a secular state, as I discussed in the course of our discussion on preamble. So India is a secular state, which means the state has no religion of its own, and the state treats all religions equally. So if India is a secular state, it means that there cannot be any discrimination between 2 individuals or 2 communities or groups on the ground only of religion. Secondly, you should know that in India we have active secularism, not passive secularism as it is found there in Western countries. We have active secularism, means that state in India is not indifferent to religious matters. State actively participates or state intervenes even in our religious life to ensure that we enjoy our religious rights as guaranteed by Indian Constitution. We enjoy our religious rights fully. Clear? Thirdly, you should know that our right to freedom of religion is available to us in dual capacity. It means we enjoy right to freedom of religion in individual capacity as well as collective capacity. So every individual, every citizen of this country, or even a foreigner on Indian soil, enjoy certain right to freedom of religion. So we as an individual enjoy right to freedom of religion, and then as a group or community like Hindu community, Muslim community or Christian community, as a community as well, we enjoy certain religious rights. Clear? Now come to the article. First of all, I am going to discuss Article 25. So one by one I will discuss. So Article 25 to Article 28 deals with right to freedom of religion. Article 25. Article 25 is related to freedom of conscience, freedom to profess and practice and propagate one's religion. So this is very broad in scope and very substantive in content. So every single word has to be understood properly. What is the meaning of freedom of conscience? Freedom of conscience means inner freedom which is available to or which is guaranteed to every individual. Inner freedom of conscience means that we are, or each one of us is internally free to develop and mold one's religious belief or faith, one's philosophy, without any external intervention. It means nobody should and nobody can interfere with your inner freedom of conscience. You are free internally to mold and give shape to your religious belief, your faith, your philosophy. If anybody through fraud or allurement or threat or coercion, if anybody is interfering with this internal process where your religious belief and faith is evolving, so that would be contrary to the idea of inner freedom of conscience. Clear? Next is right to profess. Profess means that whatever you have developed or you have evolved internally, your faith, your belief, your philosophy, you are free to declare that. To profess, right to profess means right to declare that yes, you are the follower of this religion, uninhibited expression of what has been evolving in you. So right to profess means right to declare that you are, or right to declare, right to announce, right to speak, without any inhibition, without any fear that yes, you are the follower of a particular religion. And right to practice, the third is practice. Practicing means, right to practice means that you have right to follow the rituals or the ceremonies or all the ceremonies or any kind of rules or regulations associated with performance of one of the religious rites, related to your religion. So right to practice means right to follow the rituals and the custom, the tradition, associated with the religious practices you are associated with. So right to inner freedom of conscience, then right to profess, and then right to practice. You can sport tilak on your forehead, you can wear sacred thread, and you can go to sangam, or and you can take a holy dip in the river, or anything that is associated with your religion. So right to inner freedom of conscience, right to profess, and right to practice, and lastly right to propagate one's religion. What is the meaning of that? Right to propagation means that you enjoy freedom to expound the philosophy of your religion, to spread the tenets of your religion for the education of others, to enlighten others. You can preach the values associated with your religion. But remember, propagation is a positive activity. Here you expound your religious philosophy, you spread the tenets of your religion, not with an intent to convert people to your own religion. That is wrong. If you are resorting to such things with an intent and the purpose of converting as many people as possible to your own religion, that would amount to conversion. That will be an offense. This is not in the spirit of religious rights contemplated by our founding fathers. So right to propagate, it does not mean spread the tenets of one's religion in a way and manner, or with an intent to convert people to your own religion. This is a disintegrative tendency, a disturbing tendency, which is not appreciated. It is an offense, you can say. Clear? So Article 25 clearly states freedom of conscience, inner freedom of conscience, and freedom to profess and practice and propagate one's own religion. Then you should know that Article 25 itself, makes it clear that religious rights that you enjoy, religious rights are not absolute in nature. It means they are subject to certain conditions like public health, morality, or public order. On such grounds, your right to freedom of religion can be restricted. Point is clear? Right to freedom of religion is subject to certain conditions. What are those conditions? Public health, morality, and public order. And a state has the power to enact law, to control or to restrict or regulate those affairs related to right to freedom of religion, those affairs related to religion which are secular in nature, which are not the integral part of your religion. Getting a point? As for example, the right to establish religious institutions or right to own and acquire properties, there can be certain activities which are related to your religious rights, but they are not integral. They are not an integral part of religion. They are associated with religious practices, but they are not the integral part of religion. Such matters, secular matters, can be controlled or can be restricted by the state through the enactment of law. Getting a point? It means state has the power to enact law to restrict and control or regulate financial, economic, political, or any other types of activities associated with religious practices. It means secular matters can be brought under the control by the state. Clear? So this is Article 20, Article 25. Clear? Now come to Article 26. Article 26 is related to freedom regarding the establishment of institutions for religious purposes and for charitable purposes. Clear? So every community has a right to establish its own religious institutions, to establish such institutions, to administer such institutions, to manage its affairs, to own and acquire properties for that religious institutions. So this is the freedom which is available to every community. You can establish your institution, you can manage, you can administer, you can acquire own property, good. But remember, the word that you need to remember is that while every community has the right to establish religious institutions, this right is related to administration of affairs, not the maladministration. So while administration is a matter of right, maladministration is right. If the state or the government comes to know that a particular religious institution is not being managed or administered properly, some people have hijacked such institutions in furtherance of their own narrow commercial or economic purposes and objectives to the detriment of people belonging to that community. So in that case, a state can intervene. A state in extreme situation can acquire such a institution, can acquire such institution for the purpose of management of its affairs till the new arrangement comes into existence. So Article 26 confers on us right to administer our religious institutions, but this is not right to maladministration. Point is clear? Then you have Article 20, Article 27. Article 27 is related to freedom. Freedom as to the payment of taxes for the promotion of particular religion. What does that mean? It means Article 27 confers on us freedom not to pay such taxes, the proceeds of which are to be used for the promotion of a particular religion. At the very first instance, government cannot enact a law. Try to understand it in a different way. At the very first instance, government cannot enact a law to impose any tax, the proceeds of which is to be used for the promotion of a particular religion. So freedom as to the payment of taxes for the promotion of a particular religion. We enjoy this freedom. So we don't need to pay any tax, the proceeds of which is to be used for the promotion of one particular religion. Remember, India is a secular state. A state has no religion of its own. A state treats all religion equally. So the resources of the government can be used for the promotion of all religions without any discrimination rather than a particular religion, because the state has no religion of its own. So therefore, a state cannot impose taxes to collect state cannot impose taxes to collect money to promote one particular religion. Resources can be used for the promotion of all religions. In India, we have active secularism, not passive secularism. Clear? So Article 27 now. Come to Article 28. Article 28 relates to freedom as to attendance. Freedom as to attendance to religious instruction or religious worship in any educational institution. It means no individual can be forced to attend to any religious instruction or religious worship in any educational institution being managed by the government, wholly funded by the government. Yes, there can be an educational institution established by a particular community, by any trust or that kind of body. So even if religious instruction is not prohibited there, religious instruction can be provided in such institutions established by a private trust. So here, individuals cannot be forced to attend to religious instruction. They can refuse to attend to such religious instructions even there. Point is clear? And in case of minor children, permission or the consent of the parents will have to be taken before children are made to attend, or they are forced to attend, or they are asked to attend such religious instructions. This is done to ensure that religious belief and faith of every individual, group and community is not invaded or it is not trampled upon, by institutions. By institutions, we have to respect the liberty and freedom of each other. That actually defines secularism in the context of any country. So Article 28 Article 28 ensures that we enjoy this freedom not to attain to such religious instruction that might interfere with our religious faith, our religious belief. Point is clear? If the child is minor, permission has to be taken. If not minor, then it is up to him or her to attend or not to attend to such religious instructions. Clear? So Article 25, 26, 27 and 28 put together all these four articles. These four articles define the scope of, determine the scope of right to freedom of religion. Clear? India is a secular state. In India we have active secularism, not passive secularism. So state is not indifferent to religious matters. And as I discussed, that right to freedom of religion is not absolute. It is a fundamental right, no doubt. It is not absolute. It is subject to certain conditions like public health, morality or public order. In furtherance of one's religious rights, it is related to practice or propagation. You are not supposed to encroach upon the similar rights of other individuals, groups or communities. Point is clear? And right to propagation, always remember, right to propagation is a positive right. Positiveness in right to propagation is a positive concept. You can spread the tenets of your own religion, but it should not be done with an intent and purpose to convert people of other religions to your own religion. Let the people decide the things on your own. You can tell the story of Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. You can expound, Bhagavad Gita, on the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Let the people decide that. If they are impressed by, certain tenets of Hinduism or Islam, let them decide. If they are willing to join, they can join. They can switch over to other religion. But nobody can force any individual or group of individuals to convert to one's own religion. If you resort to any kind of fraud, allurement, getting a point, threat or coercion to force people to join your religion, so that will be that will amount to an offense, punishable offense. It can be punished. And one more thing, it is not only a matter of punishment or law. It is not it is not integrative tendency. This is dangerous for any society. It can disturb the peace and harmony of the society. And secondly, it can initiate an unending process of friction and conflict between individuals, groups and communities. Because if you can convert people to your own religion like Islam, then Hindus can also convert people belonging to Islam to their own religion. Then Christianity, that people belonging to that religion, they can also jump into the process. So if all of us start converting wherever there is an opportunity, if we start converting people of other religion to our own, so as to increase our numbers and to explore the possibilities of having greater political influence by expanding the social base, that could be very, very dangerous for the unity and integrity of the country. In the past, while dealing with the Stanislaus case, wherein some Christian missionaries were they were made to learn that the right to propagation does not mean right to convert people to one's own religion. Supreme Court dealt with the case very elaborately, and Supreme Court said that no, propagation is a positive activity, and Christian missionaries need to learn that they have misinterpreted right to propagation to mean right to convert people to one's own religion. No, propagation is a positive activity. You can spread the tenets of your religion, but you cannot do things to convert people. You cannot resort to fraud or allurement or other things to convert people to your own religion. If this is made an offense, under a law, as it was done by the government of Madhya Pradesh and Orissa, then such law will not be unconstitutional. Getting a point? So Supreme Court dealt with it extensively, and Supreme Court said that if right to conversion is allowed to one particular religious community, then similar rights will have to be conferred on other communities as well, and that will lead to an unending series of conflict on religious grounds, which is not good for secularism, democracy, or the development or security of the country. One is clear? So, right to freedom of religion can be understood by studying in detail Article 25, 26, 27 and 28. I hope you have understood it.